Thank you, Mr. President. Men and women of the Senate, I rise as a proud member of the Senate Ethics Committee in support of passage of LD 256, an act to ban the use of leadership political action committees for personal profit. This is one part of a comprehensive campaign finance and ethics reform package that I've introduced this session. We all know that political action committees, or PACs, are a favorite mechanism to gain influence over our political system. PACs are so popular, in fact, that many legislators themselves operate one. And while legislator-led PACs should be banned entirely, I think at the very least we need to tighten the rules with how they are used. An investigation by the Maine Ethics Commission found that in a prior election cycle with a former member of this body, a legislator used a PAC to profit his business by $11,000. The legislator himself referenced that the transfer of these funds was a loan to keep the business afloat. Now, the worst part is none of this was deemed illegal or a violation of campaign finance rules. This individual ended up racking up thousands of dollars in fines, not for the action itself, but for simply not disclosing the activity. Rules governing PACs in Maine are so lax that nothing prevented one lawmaker from using our campaign finance system as his own personal lending agency. I use this recent example to illustrate the problem, but honestly there are many more examples that were probably never investigated or reported, and no party affiliation is safe from participating in this activity. The issue we are trying to solve is an elected official profiting off our political system, specifically profiting off political contributions from lobbyists, special interest groups, and the very corporate entities we are supposed to be regulating. PACs don't fall under the same contribution requirements that traditional or even clean election candidates have to follow. When a legislator can operate a PAC and can funnel unlimited amounts of contributions from it to a private business operation, it represents a major conflict of interest situation. Now, I know we're not paid very much, Mr. President, but using political contributions to fund your lifestyle isn't a way to do it. Now, I don't fault a lawmaker for participating in the system, though I fault the system for allowing this practice to occur. It's a very slippery slope when you allow legislators to fund their private business operations with political contributions. Now, we've already made it illegal for PACs or campaigns to pay lawmakers directly, but there's a major loophole. Politicians can get around this current law by simply writing checks from their PAC to businesses they control as a quote-unquote loan. And many of those businesses are simply pass-through entities to their own bank accounts. Moreover, by allowing individuals to commingle PAC, personal, and business funds, it's hard to differentiate between what is what. The money could be considered loaned without even recognizing it. This bill closes a major campaign finance loophole by making it illegal to use a PAC for personal profit. Politicians who collect checks from lobbyists shouldn't be allowed to turn around and write checks to themselves through their businesses. Specifically, this would prohibit a political action committee from making loans or gifts to a business owned or operated by a legislator, and prohibits commingling the funds of such a political action committee with the personal funds of a legislator or the funds of a legislator-owned business. The public is looking to us to prevent situations like this, the one that occurred recently, from happening again. They want reassurance that we are stepping up to address this and not simply sweeping it under the rug. No legislator or candidate should be profiting off political contributions. It raises major ethical and conflict of interest questions when your business is reliant on contributions originally marked for political purposes. Closing this blatant loophole will ensure high ethical standards for current and former elected officials. It would increase governmental transparency and accountability in our politics. I urge this body to follow the committee's lead and have a strong showing of bipartisanship to ensure our political system benefits the public good. Thank you, Mr. President.